Okay, so it's supposed to be on multi-track. So, hello everyone. My name is Kelsey Lynn Brown. I'm on Facebook as Dr. Kelsey, and I've written one book, Kelsey Lynn Brown Wonder Writer, and you will see us all over Facebook promoting Dwayne the Great Writer in the new book. So, I'm here with Mr. Dr. Erick Todes. Is this how we want to say it? Okay. And then this is ALLNatural Henry. Okay, and we're going to talk about mushrooms today. We're going to have some fun talking about mushrooms because everybody here has been studying mushrooms, and Henry's growing mushrooms, and I actually just bought a mushroom grow kit for lion's mane, which is this cool looking lion's mane mushroom, and sometimes they call it pom-pom because it looks like a pom-pom. And the whole reason we got onto this recently, we studied this years ago, the mushrooms, with Mr. Paul Stamets, and you can find him on YouTube, and he talks about this a lot and how it can heal and regenerate the planet, and also learning how the mushrooms like talk to each other and connect underground in the roots just like trees do, which is really cool, and their communication. So we started listening to Mr. Paul a few years ago, but it just came up again because we were looking at how to repair nerves and how to regenerate nerves, and especially like neuropathy, which is usually you notice it in your fingertips and your toes, bottom of your feet. And so we found lion's mane can do that, and it can also like repair muscles, which can be done a lot quicker than regenerating the like neurotransmitters and nerves and whatever and all that fun stuff. And also with lion's mane, what I saw about it is that they use it in Asia a lot as like a meat substitute, and I read that it tastes like crab and lobster, so we're gonna get some, and we're gonna grow some of it and have a little bit of fun. And there's tons of cool mushrooms like chaga, and we've used those before, and they look like tree bark, and we put it in our teas. And yeah, these things can improve cognitive function. And lion's mane, as an example, it was like first found for like Alzheimer's. People were using it for Alzheimer's and things like this. So I'll give it to Henry, and Henry can talk a little bit.
Yeah, well, another cool thing about mushrooms is there's no side effects for taking them as medicine. Like all the pharmaceuticals pretty much have some side effects that are often worse than the little benefit they might create for a little while. And they can't be patented either because they're just naturally like exist in nature. So pharmaceutical companies can't really, they're not so happy about that. But it's like easier to, to source it and be like happy with the product because it's natural. And a lot of them can't become extinct. Maybe chaga can, which is being over harvested, but most of them are kept in liquid cultures or agar mediums and fridges and things in laboratories. Yeah, but to understand that, I think Erick was going to explain what fungus really is and how most of it is unseen.
Right. So the mushroom isn't really like, when people think about mushrooms, they really think about the little caps that it has and the stems, but there's actually a lot more to the mushroom, and most people don't really see it because the main body of the mushroom is called mycelium, and it's like this network of vein-like structures that typically it's under the ground in the soil, and like it can spread out for miles in like a forest or wherever it's growing. And it's great because it can decompose like organic compounds, and like and scientists or whatever people think that other plants use it to talk to each other, like they use the mycelium, but like the mycelium's like a like we're using Skype right now to communicate with each other, like a medium. But it's great because the mycelium can decompose organic compounds. So you can use it to decompose some like petroleum or some of the pollutants that are on the planet right now. It's like a nice natural way to get rid of all of that bad stuff. And the mushroom gets to eat and, spread and live and stuff like that. It's really cool. And yeah, I think, let's see. Yeah. And I think Henry mentioned something to me the other day. A lot of people take mushrooms like raw. Like I used to eat mushrooms just raw. And he mentioned to me the other day that actually I should probably be cooking them instead of just eating them raw, because I'm not getting all the nutrients and the benefits that a mushroom can offer you. Yeah. I'm gonna give it back to Mushroom Henry over here.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, so the mushroom, the mycelium of the mushroom just makes the mycelium of the fungus, just shoots up the mushroom, because the mushroom has all these like thousands and thousands of spores under the cap, and so it just like drops all these spores once the mushroom gets mature, and then the spores just like float away like tiny little seeds and create new mycelium in another location. So when you're growing mushrooms, you just put the mycelium that you've created into a medium, and once it grows through that whole medium or substrate, the mushrooms will start growing. So it's pretty cool. Yeah. And then with the bag, so you've grown it in a bag. Once you're finished with the bag, you can put it in your garden, and that mycelium in the bag will start growing in your garden, and you just get mushrooms without really having to do anything, which is pretty cool.
So how are you growing, or did you want to say something, Eric?
I was going to ask what I think you're about to ask. What kind of medium are you using, Henry? Are you using soil or like dirt, or what are you using to grow your mushrooms?
Yeah, so I'm growing mushrooms with a friend of mine, and we're trying to do it by just using waste products. And so far we've just started the first step, and we're waiting for our pressure cooker to turn up in the mail so that we can do the next step, because everything has to be sterilized when you're growing mushrooms, because there's like fungus, fungal material, and bacteria like in the air all around us. So you really have to be very careful that other fungus doesn't start growing in, the one you actually want to grow. And so right now we've got 3 different species, enoki and shiitake mushrooms, which are and oyster, and enoki and shiitake are they're all gourmet mushrooms, with enoki and shiitake also being medicinal, which is cool because you get to eat your medicine and it tastes good and you have fun with it, And so at the moment they're just growing in like jars of like water with honey and maple syrup. You just put like a piece of the mushroom or the spores of the mushroom, which you just collect on a piece of paper, and then they just start growing in there, and they're just eating the carbohydrates and the honey. And then from that you get a syringe, and you like take some out, and you inject the syringe into a sterilized jar with rice or a grain or something. And so we found a whole bunch of expired flour and sugar and coffee and things, so we're just going to use that and some rice. And you can use coffee grounds too. They're another good one to use. And then once the mycelium grows in the whole jar, you'll see the whole jar just be covered by this like white mycelium stuff, depending on the species of mushroom. And then so once you can see it covered the whole jar, you just take out, maybe like a third of the jar or whatever you feel. And then you take like a third of the jar and you put it into a bigger substrate, okay, which is like in a bag or a bucket or a milk bottle or whatever. And so for that, we're going to use coffee grounds and wood chips, because there's wood chips all around the city here. I'm in Auckland, New Zealand, and all the parks, they cut down trees or trees fall down in storms, and they just put them through these wood chipping machines. And so we're just going to go with our wheelbarrows and bags and fill up, grab some wood chip and mix it with coffee grounds, because coffee grounds decompose very fast and wood chips maybe a bit slower. That's our plan at this stage. Yeah.
Nice, interesting. Are you planning on growing any other types of mushrooms once your first batch is done, or are you going to stick with like oyster and enoki?
Yeah. Yeah, well, we kind of just want to, I think 3 is like a lot to start off with. Like, a lot of people just focus on 1. So we'll see how it goes. Because different mushrooms require different humidity, well, similar humidity, but different temperatures and things. So we'll see how it goes. And there's only there's a limited number of species you can grow here in New Zealand. Another one I'd like to grow is turkey's tail mushrooms, which is very like well proven kind of treatment for breast cancer. It's much more effective than chemotherapy and radiation. Paul Stamets talks about this, and he's done studies on this. His mother actually cured her stage 4 breast cancer by taking that mushroom, and you can grow that here in New Zealand. So that could be fun. But yeah, it's quite limited what we can grow here in New Zealand. So I think those 3 will be like our main focus: the enoki, shiitake, and oyster.
So are you going to be are you growing them to sell? What's your idea with that, and what are the different benefits of the mushrooms that you're growing? Is there more to it than just picking them, that you can grow them in New Zealand, or what's the idea?
Well, yeah, there's a whole host of benefits for shiitake and enoki mushrooms. To be honest, I can't remember them all off the top of my head, but yeah, they're pretty cool. And yeah, it mainly comes down to the fact that they just turned up at my parents' fridge one day, and so I just took a couple and collected spores and took pieces off them and put them in my jars of liquid cultures as I was doing it. Just worked out well, and yeah, it's quite limited what we can grow in New Zealand. We could grow portobellos and white button mushrooms, but there's no way we could compete with supermarket prices, because yeah, we want to sell them, and we want to sell them cheaper than other people are, because there's not a whole lot of gourmet mushrooms in New Zealand like there are in other countries. Yeah, but I also wanted to talk about mushrooms, not just like edible mushrooms, because that's what people often think about. But mushrooms or fungi are huge parts of our ecosystems, and 30% of healthy soil is actually fungal material. And if you like dig a hole one day or put your hands in the soil and dig around a bit, you'll probably find this white kind of webby looking stuff that Erick was talking about. And you might think like, what is that? But that's the body of the fungus living underground. It's pretty cool. And yeah, like Erick was saying, like Paul Stamets has done a lot of research and talks about how they can eat toxic materials, and he's even developed one fungus that makes bees more resilient to diseases and things. So they're really here to help us, and they're more closely related to to animals and plants. So yeah, they're pretty intelligent beings. And, yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, I watched that documentary that Erick suggested, The Magic of Mushrooms, on Netflix. Yeah, and they were talking about how at one point it was like the humans and the fungus were in the same category, but then they like broke it off to where, okay, now the fungus is over here and the humans, but actually the humans are pretty much like the fungus, how they just like take over everything. They're like a huge like fungus bacteria, right? Because it was talking about some mushroom was like destroying certain trees now in Ireland or certain part of the world, and there was quite a concern happening, which is basically what the humans do too. So there's not too much of a separation. Yeah. Yeah, and the mushroom, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, I remember Paul Stamets talking about a species of mushroom that kills like huge forests of trees, or what targets one specific species of trees, like a pine tree, and the whole forest kind of, dies back like a huge amount. But if you look at it from the bigger picture, he was saying that this happened when the soil was low in nitrogen, and so the grazing animals would come in and eat grasses like the deer and the buffalo in North America, and they would, like poo everywhere, and the nitrogen content of the soil would go way up, and then the forest would regenerate again. So, yeah, the mushrooms really understand the big picture and how to improve the ecosystems of the earth a lot more so than, humans do, I think.
Yes, but the thing about mushrooms is that they can make you more creative. So maybe that's what's happening. And didn't you have some real side experiences, what people call dreams about mushrooms, and you growing your mushrooms, Henry?
Yeah, I was, it was a while ago, but I was, just walking around, my parents' house while in this dream state, and yeah, I could just like see all the spaces where I would be able to grow mushrooms, and because you don't really need a whole lot of space to grow them. And, yeah, and I saw myself in the dream state or on the real side, going to like farmers markets and selling mushrooms, and yeah, it's pretty cool because a lot of people really, they eat bad food. Like it's pretty cool that you can really have fun, eat tasty food that's actually that's medicinal, So it's pretty cool, and there's a whole lot of studies out there showing you the benefits of different mushrooms, and wherever you are in the world, you can probably find some fresh gourmet mushrooms. Pretty cool, and some countries are super lucky to be able to go out to the forest and find mushrooms yourself. You got to be careful, obviously, that you know exactly what you're identifying, because some mushrooms are toxic to humans. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. They're just out there. It's like free food, and it's fun to go and collect them.
Yeah, many benefits, improving mild cognitive function, memory, many things you can look up for the particular mushrooms. Go ahead, Eric.
I was gonna say, most of the mushrooms that I've seen like listed, there's like most of them are like immune boosters, and or like they fight cancer, or like, but I think that they really like fight cancer because they reoxidize the blood, and a lot of them help your heart like beat stronger and stuff. It's all like really connected, stuff like that. But yeah, that's all I was gonna say.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah,
Go ahead. Well, let me just say. I was listening, and it was talking about the lion's mane, that it penetrates the blood-brain barrier, which is kind of interesting. And Paul Stamets was talking about he wanted to like take mushrooms and all this other stuff and create, like things off of it to heal certain things. So yeah, there's many ways to be creative, like taking different things and putting them together. Go ahead, Henry.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that mushrooms are so important to life here because plants can't actually live without fungal activity under the ground. Like if you look in the desert, there's like sand everywhere. There's no really any fungus growing, so there's no plants. And so yeah, because I can't remember exactly what the fungus gives, what nutrients they give the plants that they really need. But without the fungus, the plants can't survive, and without the plants, we can't survive. So yeah, they're pretty vital to life here, and for the most part, we're not really educated about it through schooling systems. So yeah, but there's so much cool information out there on YouTube to people to explore. So pretty cool, and it's a lot of fun learning about these weird organisms.
And they're also diverse looking too. Yeah, like the lion's mane kind of looks like your guys' hair when it's like nice and fully grown. It's all hanging down and stuff. Some of them like look like they're from like alien worlds and stuff. It's really cool.
Yeah, that's actually something really cool. Mushroom spores can survive in a vacuum, and so there's a whole bunch of indigenous peoples who thought that the mushrooms came from outer space to Earth, which is actually plausible. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Which planet?
I don't know.
Because we're in outer space.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean. They came from the idea that they came to our, you know.
Planet Mushcap, home of the mushrooms.
So from another dimension.
I just want to encourage people to do a bit of research into different mushrooms that they can try and maybe grow or something. Yeah, maybe watch the Magic of Mushrooms documentary and have some fun. Learn about fungus.
Yeah.
Yes, and we might be back on another episode and talk about microgreens or hydrogen peroxide or ozone or whatever the other ideas were, a sustainable, self-sufficient housing like hempcrete and stuff like that.
Yeah. All natural.
Yep, so this has been the doctors and ALLNatural Henry, and I'm also Miss ALLNatural Environment on Facebook. You can look us up, like our pages, follow us, check out and share our videos. We're having a lot of fun, and we'll send you a PDF book if you go to wonderfulworldeducators.com, and you can learn to recognize your real side experiences, what people call dreams, but they're really not dreams at night. Thank you so much. Have fun. Bye-bye.